Track, Jamie Little has caught up with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
And Ricky has been checked and released, and he is okay. Ricky, what happened with you in the 21 car?
The 21 car is just spinning off of 2, and I was to the inside of the 10 car and didn't really know which way the 21 was going, and I couldn't go the outside. The 10 was there, so went to the bottom, and then the 21 was there, so I had to go even further to the bottom and just lost it. Our day wasn't great. Our City Financial guys, they worked really hard on the car, and we were just struggling all day. It's, you know, we were running our butts off out there. We're in the lucky dog position, but, you know, I guess that's how it goes.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., one of the many rookies making his first start here today. He'll be back next week, Marty.
And that'll be at Las Vegas, and you'll see that race, of course, on ESPN2 as you continue to watch this battle with Brian Vickers in that 32 as Vickers in 4th ahead of Brian Scott. Scott has really driven a great race today. This is such a tough track for these young drivers to master. And there he is. I mean, he's got Vickers in front of him and Keselowski behind him.
He's done a great job all day. I mean, he's really been one of the few cars today that's been able to challenge Joey Logano. He did that early. You see right here, he's trying to get under Brian Vickers.
And it looks like he's going to pull side by side with him as they dive down into the corner. And here goes Scott. Vince, you got more on the 11?
You know, one of the things that's impressed me with that 11 of Brian Scott, not only his driving, but the support that he's gotten from his spotter, Jeremy Brickhouse, and also crew chief Bill Wilburn, because they've been encouraging him, talking to him about the fact that his car's going to get better, what they're going to do to make it better. As you see him go down on the inside of the 32, and they've been coaching him through. Remember, Brian Scott, not a lot of experience in this series, but he has done a great job. It's been a total team effort on the 11 today. Dave?
And Vince, I think that's the most impressive thing about the Braun Racing team today is Brian Scott in the 11, but not far behind is the other Brian Vickers in the 32. The second of 4 cars that Braun has listed here today. It's been kind of back and forth for him today. Crew Chief Trent Owens told me that they were trying to overcome the problems they had last year where their cars were always loose. Unfortunately, they've been loose and then they've been tight and just been going on either side of good for Vickers all day. Marty?
Some kind of gesture from the 22 as we go back to the race lead, and I'm not sure that was a kind gesture. The battle between Joey Logano and his teammate continues.
I'm telling you, Kyle Busch is working him really hard here. He has tried a lot of things, and I think he might have found something here.
Yeah, he's moved back up on the racetrack again, and sometimes you get out of the mirror of that guy in front. He's wondering what you're doing. He spends a little bit more time watching that than doing his job. So Kyle's doing everything he can to put some pressure to make Joey make a mistake here.
These two are 2 seconds ahead of 3rd place Greg Biffle. Scott and Vickers another second behind that, and that rounds out your top 5 right now. And you can see the margin as there is Kelly Byers getting eaten alive on both sides. The 38 of Leffler and then Carl underneath.
Yeah, he got a real scare there. Trevor Bain went around him on the high side. Looked like it almost sucked that 88 car around coming out of turn 2.
Still a good day for Kelly Byers. He's been steady and worked his way up there constantly during the day.
Yeah, Byers started 32nd to give you an idea. I mean, practice and qualifying was not what they wanted, but right now he has worked his way into the 11th position. And Danica has now worked her way to 29th, and she's managed to hold that margin now to 3 laps behind the race leader. We only have 21 cars on the lead lap. That's still better than last year at this point. We were down to 14.
She's really running a tight race with John West Townley. They almost made contact right there.
Well, and that is for position on the racetrack between those 2 cars. They are both 3 laps down. They got to be careful, though, if the race leaders get in the way. The 87 of Nemechek is only 1 lap down, so he wants to stay clear of any potential conflict. He's on the high side right there. So as these laps continue to wind down, Joey Logano has now led 112 laps, but as we've shown you, there's been a lot of racing action further back in the field. On ESPN2. 5 times Joe Gibbs Racing has gone 1-2 with these guys involved. Joey Logano and Joe Gibbs, number 18 car, driven by Kyle Busch. And Doc, let's get the latest on that 18.
Well, DJ said a moment ago that Kyle was doing everything he can to try to get by, and that's exactly right, DJ. And here's the reason. In 2009, Kyle Busch 6 times was leading with 10 laps to go and did not win the race. 4 of those 6 times, it was his teammate Joey Logano who made the pass. And Kyle today would love to turn the tables on his teammate.
Great piece, Doc. And notice the damage on Kyle's hood. Well, we're going to be able to show you exactly how this happened. It was just after that last round of pit stops.
Yeah, after they had that restart, Kyle got a big run up off turn 2 as they come up down the back straightaway. You see he gets all the way up behind Joey and just gives him a shove. I mean, he lifts him up off the ground and shoves him all the way down the backstretch.
Aerodynamically, is it hurting the car?
Yeah, probably a little bit, but I don't think it's going to keep him from beating Joey. I think that's that 20 car is just a little bit better today.
Yeah, it's just been a little bit better in all phases. They've been able to make some runs at him in the first 15 or 20 laps of a run, but his car is just so good. I don't know if it's a combination of maybe shock package and everything that they have that keep the tires on a little bit better, or if Joey's just that good at keeping the tires on the race car.
Well, this shows you the progression.
I can't even go to the bottom right now. I don't know if I hurt us with the right front chains or what, but we never had that today.
So you heard him. He can't get to the bottom, and he's not able to close the gap. It's now 1.08 seconds. Another 4.8 seconds back to Greg Biffle in 3rd, Brad Keselowski 4th, and Brian Scott in 5th. Let's check in on 8th position, because there you can see Paul Menard with his hands full with Jason Leffler, and then the 99 of Trevor Bayne.
That's a nice pass Jason Leffler just made. He's had a good solid day. Nothing spectacular, but got himself well inside the top 10 here.
Well, they were hoping for such big things last week at Daytona, but then, of course, got swept up in one of the big crashes and ruined his day. Let's get an update on the 38 from Vince.
Well, just the one complaint that Jason Leffler's had throughout the course of the day is that it just doesn't seem like the car wants to go, especially in traffic. He says it hasn't been handling poorly, just doesn't feel like they've got any speed. Scott Zipadelli, the crew chief, said he thinks they know what the problem is, but they can't correct it here. Doc, let's go to Dave. Dave?
And Vince, Trevor Bayne is having an uncorrectable situation, it seems like, too, because on that last pit stop, they didn't make any changes to the car. Kind of thought it would come around to him, but it has not. He's fallen from 7th back to battling for that 10th position. Been a little struggle for him today. Hasn't had the car just exactly where he wants him. And I don't think he wants Paul Menard right there either.
Boy, they are going after it, and Menard down low now. You can see he's got some damage to his right front fender.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage there. It's really going to hurt him. You see, it tore that fender apart. Lucky that it didn't cut the left rear tire of Trevor Bayne down right there.
Yeah, he still might have caused some damage to that left rear, so Trevor Bayne also has to be careful. That's a lot of damage to Paul's car, though. He's got the fender torn up.
Yeah, the laps are winding down. 9 to go. And this race has flown by as we've only had the 3 cautions, not trying to jinx us. The most cautions we've ever had here was last October when we had 10, and the fewest was 2. Let's go a little bit earlier with these 2 cars. Maybe this will give us an idea of whoa.
Whoops. Coming through.
And then here's the second installment. Wow. You're right. That easily could have cut that tire.
Yeah, and we'll have to keep an eye on Paul Menard right now as we see Brian Vickers here trying to take over the 5th spot from Brian Scott.
Vickers dives underneath, lets it drift out high. Here comes Brian right back underneath him. Tell you what, this kid who finished 7th in the truck points last year, he can wheel the race car. He has done an excellent job today. Carl Edwards right behind him. It has not been a great day for Carl. He thought he had a good enough car, but then got caught for speeding, and he's been fighting his way back.
Front tire ready. Right front tire.
Yeah, that's Paul Menard.
So that's Paul's radio. So that contact hurt him
right
more
side,
than
guys,
it did
right
the 99.
Here.
So that is going to take him out of what was a good run. He was in the top 15, but and there it goes.
Fender somewhere.
Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse.
I'm sure NASCAR's looking around to see if that piece of that fender's on the racetrack somewhere.
Meanwhile, Joey Logano continues to motor on. He is now 1.7 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch, and this will be lap number 124 that he has led, and there'll be 6 to go next time by.
What we've seen out of him today is dominance like we saw last year from Kyle Busch in a lot of races.
Carl Edwards looking for 6th. Wow, Eric McClure gets a front row seat for that deal, as he is side by side now with Brian Scott, and Scott will not give it to him. The rookie, no, look out. The 62 of Brendan Gaughan spins.
Keep digging, you okay?